Hey there, welcome to the JeepSolid Garage. So today we're taking a look at Sully, which is Sasha's 1997 Jeep Cherokee. It's an XJ. She came home and said she has no brakes, like her brakes. So I was like, okay. Her brakes have had issues with this where I think the brake booster might be going out because they've been just hard to push for a long time. So I need to check the brake booster, but I got in it, started it up, and yeah, sure enough, boy, she has like no brakes. Pop the hood real quick. Sure enough, the master cylinder here, it is dry, no fluid. So my suspicion immediately is a wheel cylinder, one of the brake cylinders is leaking. So we'll take a quick look at that. Sasha's at work right now, otherwise I'd have her out here helping me. I will get her involved on this though when it comes to repair. I'm gonna diagnose real quick, figure out where the brake fluid went, where our leak is, what parts I need to order. Once I get those parts, I'll get Sasha in here and have her help with the repair. I really like to get her involved with that. Just repairing of her own vehicle, knowing how it works. I think it's a great skill for her to have, so let's get to it. Now, because I'm here at the master cylinder, I'm just kind of looking around here to see if I see any fluid marks, any signs of any leaks, but my suspicion is down at the wheel, so let's get under there and check. I don't see any fluid or leaks here. Here's the driver's side front caliper, and I'm just, for as much fluid as she's lost, she should have wetness all over somewhere, so nothing here that's totally obvious. And the back wheels as well, everything looks dry. So I'm kind of following the brake lines here a little bit. Obviously a lot of leaking around the differential there. But the brake line connections, just looking for any signs of wetness. And lots of things are wet under here from all the oil leaks. But I don't see any brake fluid. So I don't see any obvious areas of brake fluid, but obviously this went somewhere. It doesn't evaporate. Brake fluid doesn't do that. My other suspicion is the brake booster right here, which I was suspicious of earlier. The seal there is the brake booster now full of brake fluid. Let's check it out. What can happen sometimes is the little plunger in there, if the seal there starts leaking, you can actually leak fluid into the booster itself. And take the vacuum hose off here. So I wonder if I could just stick something down in there and see if I get any fluid on it. Alright, got a little piece of cardboard here, or a wrapper off of something. Let's just dip it down in here and see if it comes out wet. No, that's dry. Where did the fluid go, or is this just not going down there deep enough? Seems perfectly dry. Where on earth did this brake fluid go? I guess I'm pulling wheels now? From what I can tell, front brakes look okay. Brake line. They're a little gunky, but I don't see a bunch of fluid. Oh, well, look at that. I don't think that's supposed to be like that. And the brake pads actually look pretty darn good. Rotors look good. Look who's back from work.
Hello.
So let me show you something. So I pulled it in, yeah, when I went to pull it into the garage. Mm-hmm. So your brake master cylinder right here, just have brake fluid in it. Take a look in it.
Is there none? That's not good.
It's empty.
Yeah.
Oops, where did it go? That's what we're trying to find out right now. Where did it go?
Yeah.
So we're investigating. I'm checking all the wheels right now. Checked the brake booster. This is your brake booster right here. It can actually leak into there as well. I put a little piece of cardboard down there and didn't get any wetness. I don't see any wetness from any of the brake lines. These front brakes look actually really good. Like the pads look good. I don't see any leaking from the little piston in the master cylinder.
Okay.
It can leak as well. Or not the master cylinder, the wheel cylinder. It can leak. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still looking.
Guess we'll see.
So here's where we're at. I've decided to take all 4 wheels off so I can inspect them all at the same time. And I don't see any wheel cylinders leaking. The other side on the rear, I was like a little hopeful, like, ooh, does that look a little wet? Let's go look at it real quick. This one here, I was like, oh, and actually, you know, it's kind of clean right there. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. I don't know, might be leaking there a little bit, so maybe it's just had a slow leak for a while and we just noticed. So I'm going to take some brake cleaner and clean everything up really good and then fill the master cylinder back up with fresh .3 fluid, and I'm going to bleed the brakes real well, see if I can find out where it's leaking after the system is full of brake fluid, pump the brakes real good, see if I can replicate a leak. The other thing I did, I actually felt on the back side of the firewall here, because that's the other thing. I was like, oh, maybe under the floor mat there's like a puddle of brake fluid, because that can happen as well. But felt up behind there right where the brake is, and it's completely dry. It's hard to film and pour. Had to get the tripod out because I don't want to spill any, because I'm keeping track of leaks. Normally I'm really good at pouring, but gosh, not today. This is not my day for pouring. If only they made a device to give you a bigger opening to pour into. That would just like funnel it right down in there. That'd be amazing. All right, got my brake bleeder system all set up. A little vacuum pump here. Got my little reservoir here with some fluid in it so that we don't get any backflow. Gonna put a little bit of suction on this. If you are doing this by yourself, having a brake bleeder like this just makes it so much easier. So I don't have to do the whole push the pedal, okay, release, that whole thing. And a little bit of fluid and some air bubbles. Let's see if I can show you guys here. Fluid and air bubbles. So we'll just keep doing this until all the air is out. So much easier this way. I'll link these little vacuum pump like this in the description below. Amazon links, you can go get yourself one. It's a brand new day. I finished up bleeding the brakes last night and had to run get new brake fluid. Sasha's here right now, but she's getting ready for work because somebody has to go to work. But I found something. Check this out. When I got back from the store, I noticed on the cardboard on the front passenger side, look at that, a little spot of brake fluid. And then on this caliper back here, ooh, look at that wetness. See that wetness? Mm-hmm. So there's a little piston right here. See this rubber boot right in that little hole there?
Yeah.
There's a little rubber boot there, so there's a little piston there that goes in and out, and that pushes, so that's leaking. So I'm going to take this caliper off. I'm going to run to the store, get a new one, and you'll help me put the new one in when you get back from work, right?
Sounds good.
All right. On the back side here, we're going to disconnect the brake line from the caliper before we remove the caliper, just so it's not flopping around on us. Sasha will be excited to have Sully back in working order. Ow, just hit my little finger. She really likes Sully. It's a great vehicle for her, but he's got little issues. He can have some personality sometimes. And I've got a little catch pan under here because we're going to lose some fluid when this comes out. Well, unless it's full of air, we'll see here. Caliper should come off fine. We're going to take the 2 caliper bolts out here. And there is our leaky brake caliper. So we'll pop the pads off real quick and then take this back to the auto parts store. There's a core charge on it. We'll turn this in and get a new one. Here we are on the driver's side now. And there's a little bit of leakage on this caliper as well. So I already got new caliper for the passenger side and new brake pads, because the brake pads that are on there, they were soaked in brake fluid. If you get a little brake fluid on them, that's fine, you can wash it off, but these ones have been soaked in it, I assume. So I'm just going to do all new pads, all new calipers, do it right. So guess who gets to run back to the auto parts store? And the simple little brake caliper just keeps getting bigger and bigger project. Why does it never go super smooth? The deeper you dig, the more you find. So now we've got some on the knuckle here, a couple of nice little notches. So I'm going to weld those up. I'm going to fill them in with a little bit of weld, grind them down, just like I finished up on the other side. This side had a couple pretty nasty notches in there as well. This one here is gone and welded up really nice. This one here, yeah, it's gone too. Can you see it? I can't. But these little notches, so what'll happen is the pad, because the pad slides back and forth along here, it'll get caught on there and just kind of interfere with the pad moving. All right, look who's back and ready to help. All right, so first thing we got to do is grab your brake line there, and see that bolt in it? Take that bolt out, and there's 2 little washers there. We're gonna, or just 1 little washer, I guess. I'm gonna just drop that down. Yeah, it's leaking a little bit of brake fluid, huh?
Do we catch it with anything?
Yeah, it's kind of catching in that pan back there. Take a, you can just drop that in the bucket back there or whatever.
One of these?
Yeah. Grab the towel and kind of wipe off, clean up that brake line real good. Make sure there's just no dirt on the ends of it. So on both sides. So just on this side and that side, make sure it's all nice and clean. All right, now most importantly, you see your brand new brake pads over there?
Yes.
We don't want any grease on those yet. So we got to keep them clean. So get that lid away. Just gotta make sure you're done. Now grab your new brake caliper over there.
Just.
Yep. Lift it up. And then take this little bolt out and keep those 2 washers, 2 little brass washers. And now leave one of the, go ahead and take it off.
It's still on screen.
Put one of the washers on the bolt. Okay. And the other washer just hold in your hand. Now you see how there's a little lip right here? Mm-hmm. And then on your line here, see how that side has a little notch in it? Mm-hmm. So that notch goes onto that lip. Mm-hmm. And see, this side does not have a notch.
Okay.
So put that notch into that spot, but you gotta have a washer there. So put this through the back side. So this is the notch side. So put that through there. There you go. And now you can put this, or put a washer on that side as well. One on each side. There you go. And hold it. There you go. And now thread that onto that.
It's heavy.
Easy peasy. And you gotta make sure that notch like catches in its spot. And there's a wrench, I think, behind you. And not that one, the other one. Yeah, that one I think has the right size on it. Just tighten that up a little bit.
It's tidy.
Ready, tighty, lefty, loosey. So it's not clicking. Just kind of hold the socket while you do it. That provides just a little resistance. And you can just set that up here somewhere so it's not hanging on the
Is there
line.
anything that's not allowed to touch? Something?
No, you can just set it up there. There you go. Now get a Q-tip. Where's the little Q-tips? Get a Q-tip with some grease on it, and then grease up this part of the knuckle. That's your steering knuckle.
This?
Yeah, all the shiny part. Just a light coat of grease on there. It doesn't have to be real thick, but just smeared all over there. You don't want any clumps though, because you don't want to like fling it off and getting on your brake pads. And you're going to do the top part of the knuckle up here too, right up here. And the reason you're greasing that all up is because that's where your pads, they'll slide on that, and you want them to be able to move. Mm-hmm. Make sense?
Yes.
Now get another little paper towel, like that dirty one there is fine, yeah. Kind of wad that up, get some grease on it. We're going to grease this hub.
The whole thing?
Yeah, this whole thing, but don't get the studs. But just grease up this whole hub, and that'll make taking the disc, the rotor off a lot easier next time, because there will be a next time for me, I'm sure. No, I mean, if you did, just primarily just get it on all these rusty parts. And just smear it, kind of wipe it on all around. It doesn't have to be thick, just a real light coating. And get like this top edge here too, all the way around. So it'll turn, make it easier. Grab the rotor, but don't touch the surface of the rotor. You can touch that drum on the bottom, but don't touch the edges. You got to keep these edges clean, because we don't want grease on there. We don't want grease on this edge either.
On the edge I'm touching?
Yeah. And then put it on there. Line it up. And if you did get grease on, go ahead, shove it on there. There you go. If you did get grease on this surface, it's not the end of the world. We just would take some brake cleaner and clean it off. Okay. But it looks pretty clean. Now we're going to do the brake pad. So grab that pad there, yeah. And don't touch the surface of it. Let me see the back of it. No, we actually want the other pad. That's the outside one. Oh, wait, actually, we got to grease one more thing. Sorry, I almost forgot. This right here, the little piston, we want just a little bit of grease on the surface of that. And then also a little bit of grease on the back side of both of these. Let's pull both of these caliper pins out. So pull that out and set it on the clean paper towel over there. And pull out the other one as well. Just get those out of the way for now. Now grab that other brake pad
This one?
Yeah.
The front brake pad?
And don't touch the surface of it. So this one, we actually put a few little, there's some shims right here. There's a little shim I put in place just to, so it doesn't move around too much. There's like different size shims with this kit. Okay, so hold this. And then you're gonna put this part right here, clips to the inside of there. Okay. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So just, you have to flip it over the other way. There you go. Without touching the surface.
Touch the side like this?
Yeah. Yeah. And then there you go. And then just line it up. And then the clip just pushes in there. It's hard to push in. You're going to have to grab the back side of that caliper, push with both hands. I might have to help you a little bit. Push hard. Push, 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 push. Push! No?
No. I'm just scared to touch it.
Well, just don't touch it, but push. It's not going. No. Try to wedge the bottom in first. See how that bottom? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Now get those top in. There you go. And push. Now see how you have it tipped up? Yeah, tip it down. Oh, you're so close. Push, push, push. Oh, you almost got it. Oh.
You helped.
All right. Good job, Sasha. You did it. All right, grab the other one.
This one?
Yep. And now that one clips in a little different. Look at the back side of it. See how there's these two little nipples? Mm-hmm. So those are going to go into those holes, okay? Okay. So it clips on, so put it over the top here. Other way. This way. And then flip it over. And there you go. So those go on the outside.
So like this?
Nope. Yes. Oh. Nope. Yes.
So you slide it.
Slide it down. There you go. And then you just got to make sure those little nipples get into the hole there. Now kind of move it around until you might have got it first try.
Think we're good?
Looks like it's there. Yeah. Good job. Look at you. First try. Now look at, so see these boots back here? Mm-hmm. So these boots have to be, oh, there's a shim in there. Grab that little screwdriver, that flat blade screwdriver. Now kind of get behind the pad here and push that boot back a little bit. There's a metal pin in there that is kind of holding it. Don't get grease on your, watch what you're grabbing. So there, now kind of shove, if it'll shove back that way. So with that boot, just kind of push back. There you go. Push it a little farther. Okay, that's good. Here, let me see. Kind of hold that caliper for me.
What's a caliper this?
Yep. Oh, watch your fingers. Watch what you're grabbing. So we got to make sure this is just kind of pushed back. Ah, see, I pushed that pin back a little bit. And this side too. Because these boots, so we're going to fit it over the knuckle like right here. So go ahead and pick up the caliper. And you're going to make sure you're not twisting your brake line. So that little groove and little groove right there in your knuckle is going to slip onto that knuckle right there. It looks like your line is okay. So yeah, just set those down. There you go. Sets right in there like that. And then it kind of rocks up into place. So yeah, your rotor is still loose, so that's why it's not looking straight, but that's okay. And just slip it on there. Go ahead and push it on there. Now look at your boots on the back side. See this little knot, this little metal right here? So this boot has to be on the outside of that. So you're going to have to use the screwdriver to kind of pull that boot back to slip it over. Is it slipped over the top there? Okay, now there's a boot on the bottom too. You got to make sure that bottom boot is over the top and it's not all crinkled up there and mashed. Okay, good job. Push those pins in a little bit. Just, they're not supposed to be sticking out like that. There you go. And the bottom one. Now those two caliper pins we pulled out, grab those and put one in the top and one in the bottom. Grab those two clean caliper pins. And these are all greased up already, is why we're not greasing them. So one in the top boot and one in the bottom boot. And it should go in and start, you might have to wiggle the whole thing around a little bit and it should start threading in. And if it does, you know things are lined up. And the bottom caliper pin. Now just kind of snug those caliper pins up a little bit. We'll torque everything properly in a minute. Okay, so that brake line bolt on the back side here, we're going to tighten that. We're going to torque it to 23 foot-pounds with the torque wrench there. So try to get that back in there somehow. You have to probably come down below here. You'll feel it go like kunk. Try coming down below. I think you're going to be easier off with the wrench like down here. There you go. You feel that click?
Yeah.
That was it. Okay, now the two caliper pins. So caliper bolts. Torque those to 25, the top and bottom. Sweet. Good job. Woo. Give me 5.
Dirty hands. Brakes before I already know how to do it.
You've bled brakes before and you know how to do it?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to bleed brakes, clean up. Sasha's got to go clean up and get ready. She's got other stuff to go do.
Yep,
Thank you for your help, though.
Yes,
That's
thank you.
awesome. So we're going to continue with bleeding brakes all the way around, get all the air out. But you guys have already seen me do that, so I'm going to do that off camera. Check out my next video right up here, right up there. Thanks for watching. Sasha was like, why didn't you say, thanks for watching, have a nice day?
Mm-hmm.
Right, is that what I say?
Yep.
Thanks for watching, have a nice day.
Bye.
I gotta do the hat flip too. I haven't done that in a while, but I didn't have a hat on here.